Hi guys, it's Mishel, Deception Bytes, and it is Thursday, October 4th, and it's 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time. What we're going to be doing is actually going over the post from yesterday because I'm a day behind. So I'm going to start with yesterday's post, which was Wednesday, October 3rd, and I'll upload that and then I'll work on today's drop and get that uploaded this evening as well. Now, I did actually yesterday, believe it or not, start to record the drops for yesterday, but excuse me, in the middle, I got extremely ill and I was not able to continue, and I don't think you would have wanted me to. Let's just put it that way and leave it right there. All right, so let's look at the first drop from Wednesday, which was this with two, leading off with two links that we're going to go take a look at. Let's see. Link number 1. Alrighty. And this comes from the Twitter page of Kevin Shipp. And I know you're saying, who's Kevin Shipp? Well, he is a former CIA counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and staff investigator. And he's an author of a book called From the Company of Shadows, CIA Operations and Use of Secrecy. Now, this is what he has to say about Dr. Ford. Ford is not just a liar, she is a puppet. As a former CIA polygraph examiner with a master's level DoD CIA degree in forensic psychophysiology, I can tell you with certainty she has been coached to lie. Also, note her breathing during the questions. Now, this leads to a YouTube video, which I could go out to, but it is, almost 30 minutes long. So it's just, it's silly for me to go out and watch a video for 30 minutes while you guys watch. I mean, that's silly because you could just go out and see it yourself. And I would urge you to do that, because what this body language expert does is, and let me go out to YouTube just so you can see. Well, maybe they
But they declined.
I guess. Let me go out to YouTube to see if there's any.
Which leads me then.
Hang on. So it's had 2 million, almost 3 million views. So if that is any indication, I mean, I have watched it and I thought it was definitely worth my time to watch. But it's by Body Language Ghost. All right. So if you look for this person, you might want to even subscribe to them, because they do a lot of videos of this nature, of all sorts of people. So, and they're generally right on the money, I would say. I am somebody very, very interested in body language, and I picked up some of the same things that this person did. But of course, this person is an expert and obviously picked up much, much more than I would have. But what they do is they just stop the video and explain her movement, what she's saying, and how it either disagrees or doesn't agree with what she's saying, and other types of things. So that is a video that you will want to have on your I've got to view this list. Seriously. All right. Now, let's go back. And link 2 should be very familiar to you guys, because if you watch the video I put out Tuesday night, this had just come out on Fox that Tuesday night, and I had done a video called, I don't know what I called it, but it was Q-related news, basically. And this is one of the things that I put in there. So I was pleased to see that Q had put it in his Wednesday morning drop. He obviously thought it was important to see too. Now, this, and I'm not going to read this because we've already looked at this, and I'm sure maybe not all of you, but basically, Christine Blasey Ford
is telling Fox News that the new FBI report could be finished as soon as tomorrow.
Okay. Christine Blasey Ford, her ex-boyfriend, says she helped a friend prep for a potential polygraph. So the friend was having a polygraph done. for something. And from what I read, it was a job like with the FBI or something like that. And Grassley helped her prepare for it. I mean, not Grassley, sorry, I saw the word Grassley. Ford helped her friend prepare for it. So says her ex-boyfriend. And Grassley sounded the alarm on that, as he should. So it's interesting because if you remember in the line of questioning, the interrogator was asking her, have you ever helped anybody prepare for a polygraph test? That was one of the, and I remember thinking, what an odd question. I remember thinking that at the time because I thought, I mean, that's just, it's an odd question. So, yes, apparently she has. And the former boyfriend, whose name was redacted in the declaration, also said Ford neither mentioned Kavanaugh nor mentioned she was a victim of sexual misconduct during the time they were dating, about 1992 to 1998. And that's a long time to be dating. It is. I mean, really. He said he saw Ford going to great lengths to help a woman he believed was her lifelong best friend prepare for a potential polygraph test. He added that the woman, Monica McClain, had been interviewing for jobs with the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office. He further claimed that Ford never voiced any fear of flying, even while aboard a propeller plane, and seemingly had no problems living in a very small 500 square foot apartment with one door, apparently contradicting her claims that she could not testify promptly in D.C. because she felt uncomfortable traveling on planes, as well as her suggestion that the memories of Kavanaugh's alleged assault prompted her, and remember, no skin-to-skin contact, prompted her to feel unsafe living in a closed space or one without a second door. You know why her house had a second door? Come to find out. Yeah, well, we've now found out, and I say we because I'm not the only one that's found this. There's been other people that look into these things that have found it as well. She has a second front door because it's a whole separate living space, and it's not a living space. It's a commercial space that she rents out commercially. That's why she has two doors. Nothing about being afraid that she might not get out, so the house has to have two front doors, which is absolutely insane. I mean, seriously. Like, that's an insane person. If you needed out that bad and the door wouldn't work for some odd reason, you'd go through a window. I mean, I'd go get my hammer and smash the window if I wanted out that bad. You know, seriously, like, come on. Who has two front doors? I mean, really. Ugh. Anyway, Ford never expressed a fear of closed quarters, tight spaces, or places with only one exit, the former boyfriend wrote. Well, if they were dating for 6 years, that's quite a long time. That's a long time to date somebody. Now, you pretty much know what there is to know about that person in 6 years, I would assume. I mean, people do change over time, but generally, I would say by that time, you know that person pretty well. And she never had any of this before, so must have just, I don't know, where'd it come from? And let me see if there was anything else. And Ford explicitly told Senator Dianne Feinstein on Thursday that she had a second front door installed in her home because of anxiety, phobia, and PTSD-like symptoms. That's post-traumatic stress disorder that she purportedly suffered in the wake of Kavanaugh's alleged attack at a house party in the 1980s, where she can't remember what house she was at. She can't remember how many people were there. She can't remember how she got there or how she got home because she didn't drive at that time. She was only 15 years old. She can't seemingly remember much of anything. But, of course, it had to be Kavanaugh, even though they didn't travel in the same circles at all. So, there you go. I covered, I think I covered this more in depth in that other one, but it is a very, very good, and Ford's polygraph results show key inconsistency. How many people were at the party? She doesn't know. It's different all the time. In Ford's letter to Feinstein in July, she gave a different tally, writing instead that the party included me and 4 others. Under oath on Thursday, Ford for the first time mentioned that a 4th boy was at the party, but that she couldn't remember his name. Grassley also demanded Ford's attorneys hand over notes from her 2012 therapy sessions in which she claimed to have discussed her alleged sexual assault decades ago. The senator said it was not justified any longer for Ford to cite privacy and medical privilege, given that she had relied on them extensively as a kind of corroborating evidence to implicate Kavanaugh. On Thursday, Ford claimed she could not say definitively whether she had shared those notes with the Washington Post approximately 2 months ago, as opposed to describing them abstractly. The Post wrote that it had reviewed a portion of Ford's notes. Additionally, Grassley requested copies of communication between Ford and the media, describing her allegations, saying that the legal team's failure to provide Ford's full correspondence with the Washington Post suggested a lack of candor. Well, to me, the whole thing lacks candor, because how can there be candor when she's lying? Anyway, okay, I'll try to remain like a normal person. All right, at least for the duration of this video anyway. All right, now let's go back, see what the rest of what Q wants us to know. Okay, and here Q, in very Q-like way, says Ford herself coached by the CIA. Of course, there's that question mark that we know shouldn't be there, because it isn't a question, it's a statement. She was coached by the CIA. Farm. Now, farm, of course, is another, a euphemism for the CIA. Farm, pre-family invite with internship assignment, Stanford. So she was pre-family invite. Interesting. With internship assignment at Stanford, CIA assisted sex. Now this is interesting. CIA assisted sex assault sleepers who are targeted based on trusted family backgrounds. So that is what he is saying that she is. She is a CIA assisted sex assault sleeper. Now these are women that, when the time is right, they will accuse whoever they want to smear of having sexually assaulted them. Now, they choose these women based on their backgrounds, their geopolitical location relative to families of power, influence. They'd have to choose somebody that was in the area, that grew up in the area of Kavanaugh, right? And so, that's how their family background. She's got, her family is steeped in the CIA. So, she's probably susceptible to its influence. And geopolitical location relative to families of power, influence, ability to harvest, control. Now, meaning they're going to choose people that they can harvest, that they can control. All right. Well, of course they can control her. She's working for them, directly or indirectly. So there you go. And Q says fantasy or reality. Well, do you really think Q would be putting that in there if it was fantasy? Do you think that he would just be filling our head full of fluff? Just for fun? Oh, look, hey, watch this. I'm going to write all this stuff down and they're going to believe it. Watch. No, that's not what Q's doing. He's got better things to do than that. He's not a child. He's not a little boy. We don't even know if he is a boy. Or a man, a woman. We don't know. I would assume that Q is male, but I don't know. There are many things that would suggest to me that the main person that is doing the posting is male. But again, I don't know. Now, so after that, Q says normal to self-induced in stages to exhibit past trauma level events with friendly therapy sessions notated as undefined. So that's what they do. They have it's normal to have this self-induced in stage, like she's a sleeper. She's a sex assault sleeper, and she has been self-induced in stages to exhibit past trauma level events with friendly therapy sessions. And it's always notated as undefined. Well, why is it notated as undefined? Because they don't know how they're going to use her yet. So if it wasn't Brett Kavanaugh that they wanted to smear, maybe it would be somebody else that she would claim had raped her. Well, she didn't claim he raped her, but it was some sexual assault. And it wouldn't have worked if she said rape, because he claims that he was a virgin through college. So, I think that if she had have gone that route and said, oh yeah, he raped me, which I think would have probably been the norm, then I think that it wouldn't have worked. Because I think probably his friends and people were aware of him being a virgin. So, anyway, there you go. And so when the therapist wrote it all down and everything about that she had been sexual assault, she probably didn't mention a name. She probably said, oh, I don't know his name. I don't know. Who knows what she said? Past trauma exerted to identify mind with feelings with target insertion. So that's all part of this sex assault sleeper, being a sex assault sleeper. It's like you've got these past feelings that you were traumatized, but when the time is right that you're not going to be a sleeper anymore, they're going to insert the target. They're going to say, oh, it was Kavanaugh. Don't you remember it was Kavanaugh? I don't know how they do this. I don't understand exactly how they go about doing this, but they did. Somebody did. Now, it says the polygraph was administered by a former FBI agent. Well, you could have fooled me, because they only asked her 2 questions, and they didn't even define a baseline at all. So you could fool me. And this asks, who was the agent? I don't know. I don't know who the agent was, but I can just about guarantee that whoever it is, we will find out at some point. And I need to look at that further, to tell you the truth, to see if I can dig and find out who administered the test, because it's probably out there and we need to look at the background. Well, I need to look at the background so that I can inform you guys what I find. Because I think that would be very interesting. Anyway, so who is the agent? Background? Mueller era? I don't know. I would assume, because this isn't, these questions aren't questions, they're statements. So this must be information we can find out, or why on earth would he be asking? How many times was the test administered before results satisfactory? Now that's something else that's interesting. I don't know. It could have been administered many, many times before they got what they wanted to get. Were questions modified to create positive results? Yes, I believe so. There was only 2 questions. And I think they were asked in such a way. Kavanaugh was never mentioned. His name was never mentioned. I mean, that's just out there. Out there. Now, goal per past statistical success rate, apply enough false, intensive, private, and public pressure for nominee to resign. So that's what they were doing. But Kavanaugh wasn't having that, because he probably knew full well, look, you know what? These guys are coming out from left field. I know I didn't do anything wrong. He's already admitted, okay, he drank in college. He drank sometimes too much in college. Okay, well, if that's going to keep people from future professional lives, then I don't think that anybody would be qualified for anything, because I would say that most people drank in college. Not all. Not all, but a lot of people drank more than they should have in college. And you know what? They today may be complete non-drinkers or social drinkers or not have an issue with alcohol whatsoever. It's not an indication of what your future will be. And if high school is an indication of our future, then I just should have just rolled over and died. I'm just saying, because high school, yeah, it was not. I loved school, but I didn't like high school. So anyway, and I was a handful in high school. Not anyway. Let's not even go there. So goal per past statistical success rate, apply enough false intensive private and public pressure for nominee to resign. Mission failed. Target provided with info to prep. Now, who was the target? Well, obviously, that's Kavanaugh. So he was provided with the information to prep in order to counter it. I love it. You know, the Dems, they play their little Dem games. But you can't get one over on Q and the team and President Trump. You can try, but you can't. It just doesn't work. So they knew all about what Christine Ford was and is, and they prepped Kavanaugh to be able to counter it. And he did quite well. The more you know, Q. All right then. Well, let's go on here. And this, of course, is the POTUS alert. And let's go out to where Q wants us to go here, to the Twitter. And this is Utah U.S. Attorney Jeff Sessions at the Justice Department thanking Utah police officers for their efforts in reducing violent crime in Utah. What do you think Jeff Sessions is doing in Utah? Does the name Huber mean anything? Of course it does. That's exactly why he's there, and that's exactly why Q is pointing it out. Because when I first went out here, I was like, well, okay, now. But then I went, okay, Utah, Huber, yes, he's wanting us to know that Sessions is in Utah. That's exactly what he wanted us to know. And then down here we have the where does the POTUS alert come in here? I guess down here. And then it's funny because down all the way down the page, it's like Q sent us. So I'm sure that this Twitter page was like, what? Because this whole page now is Q sent me. So Q wanted us to know about now, because I'm not in the States right now, I'm hoping to be soon. But anyway, I didn't get this wireless emergency alert, but I sure would like to hear from those of you that did. I'd like to know, what did it say? What was it like? What did it do? I want to know. Dang it. All right. Now, underneath that, Q says, what a wonderful day. And of course it's a wonderful day because Jeff Sessions is in Utah. Yeah. And it was the presidential alert day that they were supposed to be testing it. At least I assume it was yesterday that they were testing it. I could be wrong. You know what they say about people that assume. Let's go on to the next day. Now, then he actually draws this out. He says Sessions meeting Huber the same day as POTUS alert. Sessions meeting Huber the day prior to. And then you've got a link and it says what must be understood prior to. Think grand jury information. What are the odds of that? So let's go take a look at this. Well, it's a subpoena. Imagine. And it's to the Honorable Jeff Sessions, Attorney General of the United States. You are hereby commanded to be and appear before the Committee on the Judiciary and of the House of Representatives of the United States at the place, date, and time specified below. And this is at 2138 Rayburn House Office Building on October 4th. That's today at 12 p.m. So he was subpoenaed to be there by today at noon to testify at a deposition touching matters of inquiry committed to said committee or subcommittee, and you are not to depart without leave of said committee or subcommittee. And down here, it says to any authorized staff member or the U.S. Marshal Service to serve and make return, witness my hand and the seal of the House of Representatives of the United States at the City of Washington, D.C., this 27th day of September, Bob Goodlot. And it was attested to by a clerk, Karen S. Haas. Well, 27th day of September, he received this. So, interesting. All right, now let's go back and, I guess this, hang on here. Let's go up to the next one. Yes. Here is the next one. And this is very interesting because, well, actually, if you go out to the link, I'm going to go out to the link because I did pull it out for you guys to see, but I want you to actually see where we're going because there are other little tidbits out there that you might like to delve into yourself. Or maybe not. I don't know. This is the virtual reading room documents search results, and it's litigation from 2016. 47 returned, 482. Now, if you go, let's go back over here. If you go to the page 20 and look for the Assange arrest, you will find what it is that Q wants us to see. So, what I did is I went to page 20. And there at the very bottom was Assange arrest, etc. And it has what Q is wanting us to see. So, which is this. And the interesting thing is, this is what he wants us to note. By Marty Tory. And he refers to himself as the Mad Hatter. Now, we've touched on this before in Q posts, so this isn't completely coming out of the blue, but it's coming up again, which means it has relevance. Now, this is from the email releases, and it's from Marty Tory, and it's to Hillary Clinton at her really secure email server there, and the subject is Assange arrest, and he refers to Hillary as H. Been waiting to hear this great news. He must have made your life miserable. Simply a bad guy. So tired of people who try to damage the U.S. while the U.S. does so much for others. Where is the justice and common sense these days? Hope all the current world madness somehow gives you time to prepare for Christmas and enjoy the simple things. Excuse me. And then he said, took, and the name is redacted, to pick out Christmas trees last weekend. If there is better stuff than that, I don't know what it is. Anyway, hope the WikiLeaker gets what is coming to him. Happy Christmas preps, M. Now, he does refer to himself as the Mad Hatter, and we've seen that in past emails that Q has brought up, but this particular one he does not. Let's go back. Now, this is another one that I found from Marty. And it says, I brought this up because I was trying to get a handle on who he exactly was again. And, you know, I know that he's very close friends with Hillary, which is never a good thing. But look at this. Look at Marty Tory. And this was sent Thursday, April 15th of 2010, and the subject is Stone Harbor LLC. As of April 21st, Dave Stone's former business partner, James F. Blom, I guess, and I will establish Stone Harbor LLC, named for Dave, in Delaware. This will be a nice merger of Dave's and my contacts. Apart from the ongoing vetting of Simon Stringer's multi-purpose software at several levels, I am keen to help in the human trafficking effort. Oh, I bet he is. I have been in touch with Sharon Magarian, keeping Chris B. informed and seeking the status of that effort, as I am quite sure the combo of Dave's former contacts and mine can help. Jim Blom has already unclassified U.S. Department of State case number F 2014-20439, doc number CO5774987, date 8/31/2015, spoken to several Oracle Corp and his friends in Silicon Valley, and they too are motivated. Work is work, but the human trafficking issue seems like the right thing to do. All the best, Marty. Yeah, I'm sure he was really concerned about doing the right thing. Right. So we know that they're buddies that way as well, I would assume. All right, now, here we go. Here is the next one, and it is, he's making reference to, nope, this is Q2, sorry. Okay, so Q is making reference to a post of his from September 20th, and it's a YouTube video, and he's asking us to look at the marker at 1335, and he's asking us here, October 3rd, did James Baker just testify behind closed doors? RR, and which is Rod Rosenstein, of course, and James Comey coordinated to appoint Mueller? What a wonderful day. Q. So Q's not asking us. Q's telling us that James Baker just testified behind closed doors that Rod Rosenstein and James Comey coordinated together to appoint Mueller. Oh, the tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. Yes. Well, they're getting their just desserts. So let's go take a look at this YouTube video. 1335. Let me remember that.
There is now in this
1335. Well, this is close to it. Okay.
They planted in the media, so it's like this. It's this feedback loop in order to get the Trump folks. This is they call Trump an autocrat. This is maddening.
As I've been saying for 2 years, there was a brazen plot to illegally exonerate Hillary Clinton in the email case, and then if she lost, to frame Donald Trump. And that is exactly what these texts are about. Whether or not Mr. Strzok and Lisa Page and others are indicted is certainly a question people can debate. But let me just say, I know that there is a grand jury underway. Testimony is being taken about Strzok, Page, McCabe, and others involved in this case. And the reason we know it is that James Baker, the former general counsel of the FBI, has turned state's evidence and is fully cooperating with the inspector general and with the federal grand jury. I can assure you, Mr. Comey has been very silent in recent weeks, and the reason is very simple. He knows he's going to be indicted.
Yay! I hope that made you want to let out a spontaneous yay too. So yeah, Comey knows he's going to be indicted, and you know, this has been known that James Baker was going to testify. Gotta love it. All right, let's go back now. Let me see here. Now, making reference to the same one here. Did James Baker just testify? Yes, he did. He just testified behind closed doors that Rod Rosenstein and James Comey coordinated together to appoint Mueller. And then underneath here, Q has responded to his own post saying James Baker closed door testimony today, plus he's previously testified to the Inspector General and / grand jury. So he was testifying today behind a closed door, and he's previously testified to the Inspector General. That's Horowitz, and a grand jury statements sealed, timed regarding Sessions' subpoena tomorrow. Well, yes, of course. He's already telling us this is timed to coincide with Sessions' subpoena tomorrow. If Sessions is recused from Russia probe, prevented receipt of related documents. Prevented. I guess that would be receipt of related documents, info, etc. How can Sessions learn Rod Rosenstein conflicts? Russian probe. Okay, let me reread this again so that I understand it. If Sessions is recused from the Russia probe, which is what we've been told, right? That he recused himself from the Russia probe, and that he prevented the receipt of related documents, info, etc., then how can Sessions know that Rod Rosenstein conflicts, the Rod Rosenstein conflicts, the Russia probe? Per subpoena to Sessions, Schedule 1, McCabe memos. McCabe memos equal source documents for New York Times article regarding Rod Rosenstein, where a wire, the 25th Amendment. And the 25th Amendment, of course, was the amendment that says that if a president is unable to do his duty because of mental defect or serious illness or whatever, he can be removed from power. That is the 25th Amendment. And Rod Rosenstein had said that he would wear a wire now to get, things on tape for the New York Times. Now, and Q says, enjoy the show. Now, I'm a little bit confused about this whole Sessions bit and the Russia probe. I'm not exactly 100% sure what Q is saying here. Now, that could just be me and my frame of mind lately, or maybe it's not clear. I don't know. But this subpoena is, we've already looked at this, but I want to be sure that it is the same one, that we don't miss anything, because yes, it is the exact same one. And We've already taken a look at that and don't need to look at it again. But interesting that Sessions was testifying today, and so was James Baker. Again, interesting. Now, this is, I believe, the last one from October 3rd because, yes, it is. Now, this is making reference to a Q post from September 3rd, where Q says, "What is the common theme when bad news is about to break against them?" And then he says, "Stay vigilant, Q." Now, I think that that is very, very good advice because people are not happy. And there's word that Saturday, Kavanaugh is going to be confirmed. I guess that's what I was hearing. I've got to catch up with the news today. I'm a little bit, like I said, I'm a little bit behind. So I've got to catch up with a few things. But I did want to get this uploaded. And then I'm going to be doing and looking at the today's drop and catching up with the news. So anyway, we're going to go and take a look at this because Q says tensions flaring, tolerant left. That is an oxymoron. Tolerant left. Those two words do not go together. At this time, I don't know if they ever have, but they most certainly do not. And I'll use an example I've used before. It's like saying giant midget shrimp. No such thing as tolerant left, unless they're saying that the tolerant left, like walked away. You know, that would not be an oxymoron. But calling the left tolerant, yeah, classic oxymoron. Let's take a look at this. Capitol Hill, tensions flare over Kavanaugh as protesters confront lawmakers. Now, I'm not going to get into this because this is nothing we don't already know. We know there are, you can't even be living right now anywhere on the planet and not know about the protesters and everybody up in arms about this. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's getting more and more ridiculous. So, let's go. I think there is another link over here. We don't want to miss that. And this, 5 officers shot, active shooter. 3 Florence County deputies and 2 Florence City police officers have been shot in active shooter situation in the Vintage Place subdivision off of Hoffmeyer Road in West Florence, South Carolina. So I think Q is, using this to say, look, you know what? Stay vigilant. We always need to be vigilant now because really anything can happen anywhere. But there are some very impassioned people on the left who are willing to hurt other people for their beliefs. So yeah, we do need to be very, very vigilant. I mean, that's an understatement. Anyway, let's go back here. Excuse me. That is it for the October 3rd drop. Now, let me just make absolute sure that this is it. But this is going into today's, which I am going to hit on a little bit later. So, I will be back. I'm going to get this uploaded and I will be working and recording the next drop. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you all and I hope you're having a wonderful evening. It's still fairly early in the evening, at least it is to me. It's 9:08 p.m. So anyway, that's it. Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay well. Talk to you soon.